What's up, my fellow toy aficionados? This is Saint Toys again, coming at you with another toy review. This time I'm going to take a look at Dasin's Sendoh Akira action figure from the anime/manga SlamDunk. To start off with this review, we're going to take a look at the packaging. I don't know much about this company, Dasin or da-sheng, depending on which eBay listing you're looking at. But they make these SlamDunk action figures as well as a few other action figures that I've seen, and they all look pretty good, but so far this is the only one that I've gotten from them. The packaging is very plain, as you can see, but I guess it's pretty cool. It has its Sendoh's number over there, and I believe that's the kanji for Ryonan. I don't know if these words on the bottom are in Chinese or Japanese. I'm pretty sure that Dasin is a Chinese company since most of their products ship from China. But like I said, I don't know much about that company, so let's go ahead and pop this guy open and see what's inside. Alright guys, so this is what he looks like out of the packaging. So let's go ahead and start this review. Let's start with the height. This guy is roughly around 6, and actually if you count from the top of the hair, it's around 7 inches. But I feel like if you take where the actual top of his head is, I'm gonna say it's somewhere in the 6 3/4 inches tall. So this is what he looks like standing next to your standard 6-inch action figure. And I have to say he stands up a lot taller than your standard 6-inch figure. And this is what he looks like standing next to a standard 1:144 grade high grade model kit. Yeah, so this figure is definitely taller than your standard 6-inch action figure. You know, he's a basketball player, so I guess he's supposed to be tall. So based on his listed height on the show, which is 6'3". And the listing on eBay says that he's 1/10 scale, but I'm gonna say that he's somewhere in the 1:11 or 1:12 scale. 1:12 would put him supposedly somewhere in the 6.25 inches. So maybe 1:11 if you take the height from the top of his skull. So let's go over the aesthetic of this guy, starting from the head sculpt. I'm gonna zoom the camera in. This is a really good head sculpt of Sendoh. Looks exactly like how he does in the anime. The hair is good, I like it. I feel like that's what it would have looked like if his hair was in 3D. The eyes are painted on really good. The eyebrows are also painted on really good. No, it's not a messy paint job. It's nice and clean. It's all the right colors too. My only problem with this head is the way that it sits on the neck. It sits on top of his neck, and it gives him a bad case of gooseneck. His neck is really, really long. You know, for the most part, it's not really that bad. Especially if you put them on poses, you barely even notice the gooseneck. So his jersey is all in cloth. I'm usually not a fan of cloth on action figures because it makes them feel like Barbie dolls. But I don't know, I think it kind of works for this guy. They did a really good job on this jersey too. The print is all nice and clean. They have this number on the front, number on the back, and just like in the anime, they don't have the last names on the back. There's also this white and sky blue pattern on the sides, which is also anime accurate. All the details on this jersey is really great, even on the white trim, and everything is nice and clean. This is really good. It's made with this stretchy material, so you can actually kind of pose it a little bit. So you put it on certain poses and it will stay there, which is good when you're posing this guy. It adds to the the dynamic look of it when the clothing is kind of moving with the figure. On the thigh part, they sculpted in his cycling shorts or something like that. This, if you're familiar with SlamDunk, all the characters wear cycling shorts underneath them. It's shown during their bottom-up shots when when they jump really high, you get to see a little bit of their cycling shorts, and so that's show accurate too. And just like in the show, it's also the same color as his uniform. My only problem with these cycling shorts, but it's not really that big of a deal, because you're not gonna take a look at it. But if you see, it's only painted on his thigh. Actually, only on the bottom part of his thigh. Because if you look high enough on his thigh, I guess you really can't see it unless you really look underneath there. His socks also is molded onto the ankle. It's a good mold for the sock, and it's a good paint job too. It's nice and clean. My only problem with it is that because this one you can really see when you're posing him, is that when you tilt his foot like that on certain poses, like if you tilt his foot down like that, you'll see the ball joint. The Revoltech style joint on his ankle, which gives him good range of motion, but it's colored in the same skin tone color that he has on his entire body, so it makes him look like he's not wearing socks at all. So now let's move on to my favorite part of this guy's aesthetic, and that is his shoes. I am really into basketball shoes, so this is really up in my alley. This, I believe, is a Converse Acceleration. This was a 90s Converse basketball shoe. I'm not really familiar with a lot of them, but this is the reason why I really bought this action figure, because my cousin was showing me pictures of all the Dasin SlamDunk ones, and the first thing I noticed was how detailed the shoes were, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to buy these figures. So I'm planning on buying the Sakuragi and the Rukawa ones, because those guys wear Jordans, and they sculpted those Jordans really well. But I digress. We're talking about this guy and not those figures. So let's move on. These shoes are sculpted really well. You see all the details come out really good. So it has the Converse logo right there that's painted in white, and it's a really good paint job too. It's on both sides of this shoe, and I don't really see any mistakes with the paint job. It also has this purple detail on the midsole that just comes out really well. They also molded in what I believe is an accurate representation of the actual undersole for this shoe. Another problem that I have with this figure in terms of its look, doesn't come out very well on camera, but in person, the joints is slightly off in terms of the color. The color of the joints is slightly off. The flesh tone is a little bit different. It's hardly noticeable, but if you look really closely, you'll see it. I think it's more atrocious on knees, and it actually does show up on camera, where the thighs is a little bit darker than the shade of the knee. One of the problems with the jersey is that I feel like the number is too low. So I like it when it's not tucked in like this, just because the number shows up very well. So I feel like this figure could have benefited from them printing the logo and the number a little bit higher, so the number should be somewhere up here and the logo somewhere up here, because basketball players are supposed to have their jerseys tucked into their shorts, and you can do that on this figure, and I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. So this is what the shirt looks like when it's tucked in, and as you can see, I don't like it that much because the number gets all distorted. You can try to make it look as good as you can, but if you put them on poses, it will usually not work out for you very well. So I tend to just keep the shirt untucked, just because I like to see that number. Plus, they didn't put that much detail on the garter of the shorts, so I don't think it's not a very good look when the shirt is tucked in. Alright, so let's go over the articulation for this guy. Starting from the head, tilts all the way up, good double jointed head too, because it has a tilt on the head and a tilt on the neck part. You see that good quagmire, giggity giggity goo, and then tilts to the side, pretty good. Has a really good ab crunch. You go pretty deep like that, and go pretty far to the back. Arms on a ball socket joint, so it goes all the way around. It has a joint it has a butterfly joint in here on the inside of the socket. Elbow goes about that far, not really a full 180 degree elbow, which is unfortunate because he has a double jointed elbow. Wrist is on the like a Revoltech style joint. You can basically position this hand however you like. I really like this wrist joint, it's really good. Leg moves all the way forward about that much and doesn't move back very much, which is one of the things that I didn't like about this guy's articulation. The knees is it's a pretty good knee joint, not completely 180 degree bend, but it's pretty close, maybe like 160 degrees maybe. It's a pretty good. The ankles also go up and down. It can rotate. Oh, I forgot to mention on the thigh. Thigh also has a thigh swivel. It doesn't go completely 360, but you can get good rotation out of this thigh. I mean, that's about as much thigh motion as you would normally have on a normal human being anyway. And now let's go over the accessories of this guy. And this guy has a lot of accessories. So let's start with the action base. This guy comes with a wood basketball court looking floor action base, and it comes with two arms, a short one and a long one for I guess standing and jumping poses. Also comes with two of these clips that clip onto his thigh and his waist. He comes with three alternate faces and they come with numbers on the back. So number one is this guy, this face, which I guess is a more intense looking face. This is another drawback. I know this is probably just on my figure, but there's some sort of scratch up here. It's there, you can see it on the camera. I don't know what that is. It's some sort of scratch or some sort of paint. Next is he has this one that he's kind of looking, you know, on one side. If memory serves me right, this was a look that he made in one of the scenes in the anime, where he was either faking a look in one direction or he was scanning the court. But yeah, they showed him with this exact same face on the anime. Let's go on to the last face, which is his happy smiley face, which he also gives out quite a lot in the anime. Then he comes with all sorts of different hands. So he has this action posey type hand for, I guess, when releasing a jump shot or something like that. He has two of them. He has two pointing hands for the left and the right. He has this hand, which is kind of like another action pose hand, I guess. He comes with one of these gripping hands, which goes in tandem with one of the other accessories that I'm going to show you in a little bit. And lastly, he has this hand which is holding on to a piece of lemon, which is also part of the SlamDunk, where they show the character sucking on a lemon. I think it's like some sort of candied lemon that they suck on for rehydration and energy. This is the accessory that goes with the gripping hand. It's a soda can. Cole. I don't know if that's a real what soda brand. Probably not. I don't remember the brand of soda that he drinks in the anime. Maybe it's that brand. Looks like a Pepsi can to me. It's a really good accessory too. Nicely detailed. The paint job is nice and clean. Logo is nice and clean in there. So it comes with silver accents and even has that rough tin can look on the bottom, and it even has the details up top. I'm gonna stand this can next to the figure just so you guys can have a rough idea of how small this thing actually is, and the amount of detail that they put into it is really amazing. And lastly, you can't have a basketball player without the basketball, and this is a really good basketball sculpt too. It's nice and textured like how a basketball should actually be, and the paint job on this thing is quite amazing. See, they panel lined all these little grooves just like how it would look like in a basketball, and it has a little peg which pegs onto the hands that I have on the action figure itself. His ball gripping hands, which both comes with pegs on them for the ball. Well friends, this concludes my look into Dasin's Sendoh Akira action figure. I think with the price range that they set this guy at, I feel like they're directly competing with Bandai's SH Figuarts line of action figures. And for the most part, I feel like this toy actually holds up. It has really good attention to detail and all the articulation is there. The show accuracy is there, and it has a lot of accessories, much like a lot of those SH Figuarts action figures as well. I think like this is a great action figure if you are in the market for a SlamDunk action figure. Look no further based on my experience with this guy. Assuming that all the other SlamDunk action figures from Dasin are of the same quality, you guys will not regret buying this one. And lastly, I'm going to leave you with footage of this guy in action in different poses. Well friends, that's it for this video. If you guys like this content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I come out with a new toy related video at least once a week. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.